play Friday. The loser of the Portland-Phoenix game that will take place on Tuesday, it will be complicated for sure as Porzingis fires a three. Make sure you follow your local listings to see when those teams and those matchups are. Clippers get their first possession here again in game 82.
And shout out to Chris Dunn, all 82. I mean, that still to me is a badge of honor. Endurance, focus, strength, a little luck in there.
And as you like to say, not all minutes are equal. There is no one that plays harder minutes than Chris Dunn on the season for a variety of reasons. Horford lays it in.
No, it's Al Horford still getting it done. I mean, after all these years, kind of changed. We talked about Brook Lopez changing his game. Al Horford is very similar in that aspect, still a valuable asset. Tough shot by Garland. And speaking of which, Brook Lopez, the follow-up right there.
Al Horford, this is his 45th game. Steve Kerr has talked about how his leadership has really been front and center over the last month, that he's kind of taken his time and have read the room and spoken up when necessary. And it's a reason why the Warriors are going to be able to be in that play-in bracket despite all the crazy injuries that they have had. Porzingis misses on his second shot. Melton the rebound. Podziemski the three, coming off a 30-point night. A couple of nights back.
Put it up, but he has the full confidence in his team, and coaching staff too. How about John Collins?
Collins lays that one in. Came off the bench in Portland to be the backup center for Brook Lopez. It was a tough night for Collins. Curry the three, knew it all the way. 8-4. Golden State out in front.
Is it okay if I say I really do not like Steph Curry, but I love him to death? I love watching him play. So, you know, at times when we have to battle against him.
Clippers have seen him in more than one occasion with the season being on the line. Back in 2014, these two teams met in the playoffs. They would meet again in 2019. Clippers winning in 14, losing in 19. Porzingis coming out a little cold to open this one up. This is just his 15th game with the Warriors and just the third time he's played with Steph Curry. They've only played 11 minutes since Porzingis was acquired back in February. Lopez the wing three. Two teams finished the season last year. Game 82, Melton the three and Jones the rebound. A little bit more on the line for that game than there is here tonight, but it will all come down to Wednesday. One of these teams will be done this week. Collins draws the crowd. That leaves Dunn wide open. They don't guard him. He fires a three, in and out.
And the way you say it, too, is the finality to that. You know, starting back in October, all had dreams and possibilities of what could be to the season, and then all of a sudden, it could all be over.
Well, the way the Warriors closed last year with Jimmy Butler, Podziemski knocks that shot down. It's a 10-4 open for the Warriors. Clippers go 18-3 last year. Everybody thinking that they're going to pick up with that same momentum. Both teams struggled for different reasons. Garland not there. Porzingis the rebound. Podziemski, little Pinoy step inside, can't get it to fall. Lopez the rebound. On the 8-minute mark in a rapidly moving first quarter. Collins in the mid-range. It's good. Couple of buckets for John Collins in this first quarter. Clippers coming off needless to say, a disappointing night in Portland on Friday. Chance to win and get into the 8th spot. It doesn't happen. Give credit to the Blazers. They just outperformed the Clippers for 48 minutes.
And they outperformed, out-executed. I thought the energy level they had early set the tone, picking up the fouls. But that's what a home team is supposed to do. And a team that's riding that momentum that they've been on in the air for that jump shot.
Deflection, and guess who? Leather larceny by Dunn, gets to the house and flushes it in. Chris Dunn, a wonderful game. The last time these two teams played, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, prolifically his best game, although he's had impact each and every night for the Clippers. E. Santos out there for Golden State. And now Curry. Disappearing behind Porzingis. Comes up firing the moment he touches the ball. Now the Clippers have a chance to tie. Collins swivels down the lane and gets it to go. He's got 6 of the 10 for the Clippers here in the first quarter.
No Kawhi. Your roles are a little bit different. Yards of the offense, another turnover opportunity here for the Clippers in transition.
That's one thing that the Warriors do is turn the ball over, although so did the Blazers, and the Clippers did not have much luck in turning them over in the series.
Behind the scenes to make this and all the broadcasts very special.
Garland picked up by Curry. It was against Golden State that Garland made his Clipper debut. Another tough shot for Garland. Lopez can't get that one to fall. Garland now 0 for 5 in this first quarter. Podziemski, baseline drive. Another Pinoy step high off the window, and Porzingis able to tap that one in.
Podziemski is down, but he's getting up. Got to be solid with those passes when if you
And nothing else.
when they bump knees. So
Ball goes back to Golden State. 5:47 to play in this first quarter. It's 12-10. Warriors out in front. Again, it is 99% certain these two teams will play on Wednesday. In fact, Golden State is so confident. They're staying the night. They are waiting for Wednesday's matchup with the Clippers. They're not going to go back to the Bay Area. Porzingis. And working around the bend. In the corner, the three is short by Will Richard. Rebound goes back over to Curry for the three. This was always one of the biggest deflating plays the Warriors would have in their heyday. That rebound offensively that would lead to that three-point shot.
and that time, too, you got to think about it, you had Klay Thompson, too. So it was like, okay, either Steph or Klay, we're going to hit you over the head with the three-point. Well, they're only down 4 right now.
It's early. And the Clippers are down 7.
Yeah,
so what are we going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Mathurin. Nice recovery by Dunn. Miller, the slow step off the window. Collins inside, taps it in, and John Collins with 8.
Yeah, Collins is doing his work early, once again, anticipating where that shot is going to come off. That got some really good inside position, able to get that up and in. Another offensive rebound.
Santos, nice pass to Curry. Even better shot by Curry. Now he's got 8. It's 19-12 in favor of Golden State. These two teams played last in the Bay Area. Clippers would win that game. Sanders inside to Collins. A big finish and a big first quarter for John Collins.
Yeah, but it's Kobe Sanders doing the little things once again. Dribble penetration, not picking up his dribble, patiently waiting for John Collins to cut down the lane and drop it off that dive.
Payton behind the back to Santos. Collides with Collins. Whistle foul. About what was really the turnaround. Ty Lue likes to talk about defensive schematics and whatnot. Hold on, we'll get that in just a second. We get a word for energy, a younger motor. But the purity of it all was one of the many elements that they talked about that helped turn this season around.
Well, let's take it a step further. It was not a better energy, but a different energy. But when they played the right way. So the veterans looked at them like, okay, I can rock with you because you're doing all the little things that you worked on, and it not only benefited you personally, but us as a team.
Whistle, travel, and a turnover. And it's 2014. Golden State out in front. 3:11 to play.
And we got to shout out the coaching staff, too, for the development, not just from the physical standpoint, Yannick, of Jordan Miller and Kobe Sanders, but the mental aspect of being ready to play.
Ty was always quick to point out the coaching staff and all the great things that they have done this year. Late in the clock for the Warriors, not going to get it off. Father of the Kennedys, Bill Kennedy, we are happy to have him back in action. He gets the Lifetime Achievement Award for the first ever Kennedys. Who knows what awards we'll have next year, but congrats to our winners, and I'm sure they are thrilled.
And we would love our fans to tune in, chime in, and say maybe what awards we should add to this. We were talking offline. I mean, that is true. That's part of your
best hair is certainly in the conversation.
Best hair. Best smile. After.
Yeah. Crowd interaction. There's a lot of ways we can go. We had a lot of fun with it this year. And Mark Lindsay was a lot of fun to watch. Had him a few times and did a great job. 2 is straight on 3. It is good. Clippers out in front by 2. And a quick side note, we've mentioned this before. It's not easy for those officials. We have fun with them because it is not easy. They've got to remember names. They've got to remember the exact play breakdown. Do it in front of a camera. This is not something that they thought about doing when they became officials 10, 15, 20 years ago. They all did a great job throughout the year, and we had a lot of fun with it. Will Richard gives to Curry, launches the 17-footer. It's off the rim. Seth Curry and Steph Curry became the 40th pair of brothers to play in a game together this month. Mathurin the 3. He's holding the finish and feeling good. He's got.
Defender went underneath. Nice little rhythm dribble. And that's how Ben was playing when he initially got here. Took the thought process kind of out of the equation.
Spencer, it's a late 3 in the shot clock, and he reins it in. And He cut your lead down to 2. That's Spencer's brother, Cam Spencer. Wonderful season with the Memphis Grizzlies this year. Extra pass in the corner to Sanders for 3. Mathurin comes in out of nowhere and perhaps finding a little confidence. His third bucket today.
How big of a game would it be for him to kind of break out and get prepared to see this team once again later this week? To have
reasons. If the Clippers want to win, they got to win twice to get into the playoffs. Remember that. That's the situation being in the 9-10 bracket. Spencer, the wing 3, can't follow. He is make. Rebound inside goes to Nate Williams. Juggles, recovers, 8 to shoot. Back out on the wing. Leon's down the lane and down the hatch it goes.
So that's almost the reverse of a rebound, a three-point shot that kills you. That was a rebound and drive against a scrambling Clipper defense.
Mathurin, 7 to shoot, 9 minutes to play in the half. Miller dribbles off his foot and out of bounds.
Yeah, Will Richard that time with quick hands, anticipating which way Miller wanted to go, knocking it off of his foot.
Back out there, played 7 minutes in that first quarter. Clippers lead by 2, have trailed by as many as 7. Curry, the straight on 3, wiggles in and out. Seth Curry coming off the bench, 1 for 5 here. Miller attacks from the line of the lane, swooping in, blocked out of bounds. Last
foul reminds me a lot of his father, more than Steph. Of Dale. Just a smaller version.
Miller with the second. It's 35-31. Clippers out in front. Game 82. Play-in begins Tuesday overall. Likely Wednesday for these two teams here in Inglewood. Winner would advance to play the loser of the Phoenix Blazers 7-8 matchup that will take place on Tuesday. Miller the rebound, coming off a great game. We talked about big games and moments in the NBA, and we were talking about it with the Blazers and how many times they have played in big games. And there wasn't a long list of big game players as Mathurin misses. You could have said the same thing for Jordan Miller, at least in the NBA. And boy, did he answer it coming off the bench. And Finn has been productive here this season for the Clippers. Williams lowers the shoulder, then lowers the boom, lays it in at the iron, 35-33.
Yeah, back to Jordan Miller, too. We always talked about the log jam at the time at guard forward positions. Here's Garland, shot right through a cannon, down the lane wide open. Maybe that's a bucket you want at a season-ending game with, a lot on the line.
Now the Warriors would go into the play-in. They would win that against Memphis. It's the only game they've won in the play-in. They are 1-3 in that scenario. So these two teams, Clippers 0-2. Last time they were in the play-in scenario was in 2022. They had double-digit leads in both of the games, could not prevail. Bogdanovic settles in for the 3. It's a long rebound, goes to Mathurin. He eases into the tray and knocks it down. And boy,
I'm telling you.
A matter of 5 minutes has turned his entire outlook around.
But other than the drive when he kind of threw it out and almost turned it over, no, seriously, he is allowing the game kind of to come to him, and he's getting high-quality shots, stepping into it, no pressure. I'd like to see that Ben kind of go to work because he's too talented not to be effective.
Well, we mentioned this in Portland, that the starters in Portland were all pluses going into the fourth quarter, and the bench was all minus. Well, it's the opposite here tonight. Bench has been terrific for the Clippers.
I could go back to him, step guard him, take your time, use that big body, shoot over the top of him.
Spins away, finds Miller, makes a tough grab. Now it's Bogdanovic, a clean look at a tray, and he knocks down his second. And the Clippers now lead by 10, 6 minutes to play in the first half.
7 assists right now, 16 made field goals, 6 for 15 from behind the three-point line, and by my math, that is 40%, which is really good.
Corner 3 for Payton, never been his strong suit. Bogdanovic, the rebound. Clippers do not have numbers. Bogey says, I don't care, another 3. This one's offline. Porzingis challenges Lopez and now sends it back outside to Melton for the 3. It is short. Rebound Bogdanovic. Back and forth we go. Golden State just 5 of 20 from the three-point line. 18th in the league coming into this one. They take the most in the league with some offensive fouls. With Brook Lopez back in the first quarter. Good ball movement. Krzyzewski driven off the line by Collins. 5 to shoot. Melton challenges Lopez and lays it in.
was good offense that time by Golden State. Drive, get stopped, kick it, drive again, lapse the defense, Melton able to finish it.
Miller got lucky on that pass, Dunn able to retrieve it. Collins with 7 to shoot, picked up by the 39-year-old Al Horford. Rises with a contested jumper, misses everything. Porzingis the rebound.
Yeah, poor spacing that time by the Clippers offensively. Ball was basically caught on one side of the floor.
Nice feed. Another nice finish inside for Steph Curry. He's got 10, and it's 43-37.
Well, you know, back in the day, too, what made Golden State so tough was they had excellent passers of their bigs. So when Clay was cutting, Iguodala, it was Steph, those guys would get little clearance and the ball would be placed perfectly for them just to catch and score.
It started with David Lee, then Draymond Green, and so Collins. 7th turnover for the Clippers. Just 3 so far for the Warriors. Again, they are 27th in the league in turnovers. Horford misses badly. Porzingis first to the loose ball. 14 seconds placed back on the clock. Porzingis, great idea inside. Ball pinballed off of Chris Dunn and out of
Either to the corner, Brian, or back out top. Those penetrating passes are going to
to this game. Second falls for Porzingis. It's now 43-40. The Warriors climbing back into this one despite going 5 for 22 on the three-point line. They've got the last 7 of the game. Garland. Into Lopez, pirouettes it.